Hey traders, Okanes here. I'm gonna show you some analyzes before the week opens, before the market opens on Monday or Sunday night, depending on where you live. So I have three assets this time: USDJPY, GBPUSD, and EURUSD, and we're gonna go through them real quick here. I'm gonna show you what I think and some of my targets. So for USDJPY, you can see on the weekly. We have a nice trend, big falls, retracements back up to the trend line, big falls, and then again retracement. And now we have, in this case, you can see that we didn't have a lower low, but the low stayed at the previous position, at previous support. And then we had a retracement back up to the trend line. So if we go to the daily chart, you can see that price did indeed come and touch it. It was above as well. I shared this line in the Skype group actually already a few days before price reached there. So if you're not in the group, join so you can use these lines. You can take advantage of the forecasts I do and the targets I share. I took some long-term trades like hourly to above, and even short-term trades on the USD JPY. Meanwhile, it was climbing to this target. So once you have your targets, it's easy to react, to know how to trade accordingly. So you can see the first bounce back down, and then price traded above this line for a while before it fell, and now it's retracing back up. So if we go to the lower time frames, you can see we have price trending up again. You got your higher lows. So even without the trend line, you can see the higher lows, the retracements down, and then continuation. So now we might actually see another retracement down here. So we're gonna have to wait and see what happens when the markets open. We have a line here that I also shared a few days ago, as you can see. So we might see price come down here when markets open and then continue up. So we have some trends going on here on the lower time frames as well. When you look at it this way, you can see price is making lower highs like this, so this support line and this trend line makes a flag pattern here. So we might see there might be some different ways the markets will open, either here with a gap and then continue up to this level and then continue down again, or it might continue above the trend line and then break down. So you're gonna have to wait and then trade accordingly. If it's coming down and then coming back up, then you know it's moving towards the resistance line here, or the support line, and the trend line here. If it's above, then it might come down, get support. So have your targets ready and then trade accordingly. You can predict the markets, but you can predict the targets. So whichever target it's moving towards, and you can trade accordingly. So wait for markets to open and then trade accordingly. So these are my lines. And here you can, on the hourly, you can see the climb. You can see the same thing happened before, so the same pattern. A big jump, and then it came down, accumulated, and then the breakout candle. And here again we are seeing the price coming back down to this level, just like before. So we're gonna trade accordingly if it does, and see if it climbs back up. It might actually climb back up and this time touch. Sooner or later, it might take a week, I don't know. All I can say is that this is my target, and the price, if it continues up, then I know it's probably targeting this area, somewhere around this area between the daily trend line, which is this one, and then the trend line I placed on 4-hour or hourly time frame. I actually had a couple of trades here as well on the 5-minute time frame when price was moving towards this target. I had one call option here and then another call option here, based on a trend line I had placed like this for the second trade. So you can see that in the previous video I talked about it. So that's USDJPY. I leave it here, and GBPUSD. this bearish candle. First of all, remember this is from the 23rd of June, which was the day for the Britain leaving the EU, so the Brexit. You can see the big drop, kind of support, and then another big drop, and now as you can see price retraced back up all the way to where the big drop stopped. So it's channeling. You can see that the resisting higher highs and then the higher lows here. So I might actually be waiting for another candle to come down, reach this, come back up, close above this support line. If you're trading long term, then you want to wait for price come down, or trade when it comes back up above this line, and then wait for a bullish sign before you trade. If we go to the lower time frames, you can see that price is now making a lower high. So maybe once again price could already start down here. When the market's open, it could start here, come back down, come back up, and then break this support and continue up. So we're gonna have to trade accordingly. But now we have our targets. Obviously this trend line could be broken as well, but we're gonna have to, as I said, wait for the signs to see if there is a bullish continuation or not. If you're trading short term, then you will most definitely have some bounces. Then you should go to the lower time frames and adjust your lines based on the lower time frames if you want to do short-term trading. As you can see, the lines look great on the daily, but if you go to the lower time frames, they're not touching the candle. So if you're going to do short-term, you're going to have to adjust these lines. But as you can see, it's a nice channel, so trade accordingly on the GBP. And if we go to the EURUSD, we also know that EURUSD also dropped during the Brexit, but you can see that it recovered all the way up there to the point from which it dropped during the exit of the UK. So the GBP, as you saw, it was still down there. It has not recovered, but the euro has recovered, or at least had recovered and dropped down. Now it's making an attempt. Now I hope you see the pattern here. Give you a second. So let's go down here first. You can see the pattern, a high and then a slight lower high, a drop, and then the candlesticks actually broke this trend line, came below it again, and then you got a lower high and then a jump. So this, you see the pattern, it's happening again. So you have two highs, one slightly lower, and then a big bounce and drop, a break. Here again a lower high and then a bounce, and here again you had the price coming down, and you could also draw a trend line like this. You can see it went below it and then again a break, so kind of repeating itself. And we had a daily, this is also a line I shared in the Skype group with others. I think I shared it in a video as well. You can see this daily candle, this trend line based on daily candlesticks, and you can see how it got broken here. Price came back down below it just like before. You see it got broken, came back below the line, then broke it again, and here again broke it, came back below the line, broke it again. So we have the repeating pattern here, as you can see. And I had this line here based on these bounces, and you have also seen this line based on some previous videos, previous webinars. I've told you about this line, and also another channel here that I placed put options on. You have seen it if you have watched some of the old webinars. But regardless, you can see that price is also making some dips below the support. Here it retraced back up, so it might actually fall. Just like what I said about EURUSD, you can also see here a lower high. You can see the lower high, right? So see price is climbing down So we got a lower high here. So if GBPUSD continues down, most probably the EURUSD will also come down, and it might come down all the way here before it bounces off or to a previous support, which is in this area based on previous candlesticks. So you're gonna have to trade accordingly. You're gonna have to wait and see what happens. If EURUSD continues up, you might see it come up to this level once again, because you saw before the Brexit, EURUSD was trying to climb, regain strength, and then it failed here. So you might see it coming back up again, at least make another attempt. But of course, not sure, it might also come back down. So now you know you have your trend lines. You will see if this line gets broken. You might see a retracement back down on it, on which you can take a trade and a call option. If it continues up, you know where it's trying to go. So you have your targets, just trade accordingly. And as I said in the previous webinar, I had a line here, I think it was based on these candlesticks. So this is probably where the price came back to and reacted to, as you can see. So that's why it's good to look at these forecasts and videos and the targets I share, because price comes back to it and it's a money shot. Because if you already have that line, then you know where to expect price bouncing off of. So practice on drawing your own lines as well, and check out different time frames. You saw that I could have 5-minute trades based on the 5-minute time frame, even though I drew my lines on the hourly, 4-hour time frame, and even the daily time frame, but I still could go down. And since I had my target from the higher time frames, I could do trades on the lower time frames as well. So practice on that. I hope these analyses help. Again, these are not 100%. This is just a forecast based on the targets. So we will have to see what the markets are going to do, and they can do precisely whatever they like to. So just set up your targets, support, resistance lines, supporting and resisting trend lines as well, and wait for confirmation and trade. Okay, see you in the Skype group.